Let's do it. Good morning, ladies and gents. How's everybody doing? How's 2021 already treating you guys? Being that we're already going in the midst of the halfway point of February.
Yeah.
How's obviously, before I start hearing your guys' thoughts on how this has gone, but one thing they can also consider is, more importantly, are you guys ready for second quarter? Are you guys ready for second quarter? That's what I want to know. Wow. I hear crickets back there. Anybody jump in.
Well, first quarter is a disaster. I mean, the phone is not ringing.
Yes, that's for sure.
Guys, you guys are aware that normally, on average, the worst month in real estate is February, right? So I think why I'm stating the obvious here is, what are you guys ready for second quarter is, you know, the month of February tends to be that drag month where, you know, there's a lot of open-ended things. There's some possibilities that might come through the pipeline. Also, there's always changes that go on in the real estate industry in the month of February, you know, on a local level. So it's a good time to kind of recapture, reformat yourself for for the year coming. But more importantly, though, is 2021 second quarter. Where do you guys stand as far as starting to generate, the calls to action for, touching your database? Where are you guys on the fact that you're reaching out to even on your social media presence? As I stated earlier, jokingly, but I'm very excited. I really am to see Creighton embracing social media outlets now more so than ever, because he's starting to see the industry going in that direction of technology and social media presence. So there's a lot of factors right now, even though it's slow. It's necessarily slow as far as the market, yes, but your business and your back end operation should not be slow, right? You guys should be right now really focusing on gauging your future business by setting up all those steps and structures in place to get there. Now, with that being said, right, the 7% club is what it is, right? We want to continue to focus on how to attract and really present the best presentation of yourselves and your business to that potential client, so that they understand that they are actually paying for the service that you're giving versus discounting your service by competing competitors and having to pick from that and say, look, whoever gives me the cheaper deal, I'll go because I know my house sells very quickly. Who here has already been getting more and more comfortable on the fact of being able to stay confident in your abilities to present your business and your marketing and your experience and your quality of service to that potential consumer or seller? And I want to see, this is an open dialogue conversation, because I want to know the deep, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I want to know that the comfort level not there. I want to know that it's not there. I want to talk about it, because right now we're re-engaging ourselves again on making sure we are ready for second quarter. Second quarter, we are under the business assumption, right? And you can't always assume in business, but we are under the business assumption that business is going to pick up. It always does around that time. Where's your confidence level, guys? I want to hear you.
Yeah, I'm very confident in it. When that conversation comes up, I always shoot 10. Of course they're going to be like, oh, let's not do that. But, and I'm comfortable asking for the 7%. That's what it says in the listing contract. And that's how we've been doing it. And, we just kind of go through that. But then my question is, with other 7%ers, when the selling agent on your listing, I just had my one listing, the other agent's like, can you make sure, are you sure for that payout? And that they were surprised the payout that I was paying out. And I'm like, so my question is, how are other people handling that question?
That's a good question. And I'd like to hear the rest of the team here. But truthfully, think about it, guys. Look how much, not even confusion. I want to say, look at the oh my God, right? The wow, really, we're getting paid this? How unfortunate is our industry that we're getting excited because we're always in an industry that we're constantly price gouging ourselves, right? How exciting is it to really see your breath of fresh air when you're on the other side of the listing and you're representing the buyer, but you see a higher payout than normal? That you think that, oh my God, is this right? I'm gonna make sure because I don't think this is right. When knowing that whatever you put, you do to the best of your abilities to be, obviously truthful, and your fiduciary responsibility to your sellers is to put the proper information in the MLS to include the payout. But people don't see that, right? They don't see the higher payout. What does that do to that particular agent in the future that Steve has a listing somewhere and she notices that Steve has a listing out there? What do you think the probability of that property being shown now with the higher percentage rate if he gets another 7%?
Well, I will get another 7%.
Attaboy. Any thoughts on that? Anybody on the 7% club? Have you guys ran into anybody just questioning the payout or concerned that it might not be accurate or how do you best present that to your seller? Now, look at this from another point of view. How do you present that to your seller in a positive way to show that sometimes paying good and getting good quality work and you're paying out good agents to bring clients, how do you present that to make it a benefit for your seller?
Well, I've had that happen when I was on phone duty, years ago, that an agent called from the office and I knew the agent and it was a listing out of the office and they're like, and it was a $600,000 house, and an agent said, why are they paying out so low? And my response was like, hey, just do your job and show the house. And then that kind of clicked to me that agents are out there. I mean, they're looking at the payout. If it's a 2% payout compared to a 2.5 or 2.7 or 2.9 or whatever, they're going to show the higher one and make some excuse, say the seller's sick, some kind of cancellation on it. And that's, I know people do that.
And it's unfortunate because there are people representing their buyers in that manner, which they shouldn't, right? They should be able to show what's on the market. But at the same time, I guess my question in theory was, if an agent is paying out, let's say 3.15 or 3% to the buying side, they should automatically see that. When they see that, they're like, man, that's a good quality listing then. If somebody's willing to pay that much, there's a good quality listing behind it, right? They stand behind it because they understand they have a quality payout, they have a quality property, and the representation is quality. So all across the board, it's nothing but the best of the best, right? And that's the mindset that we have to continue to carry forward is we are the best of the best. This is why we're paying out this much because we're charging our client for the quality of service that we do in our experience and making sure we are dealing with the right agents as well. What happens when you're in a seller's market and you're paying out a high commission? You're going to have a competitive edge over everybody because then you get to select, to your seller's benefit, right? You guys mutually work on selecting the right buyer for that home as far as financing contingencies, all that. So you get a better array of contracts, stronger contracts, right?
And you get stronger agents as well on the buy side.
Absolutely.
Well,
Yeah.
I think that if the seller is willing to pay a 7% commission, that they'll be easier to work through the rest of the process. They won't be so, they'll be better to work with, I think, because they know what they got into it and they're willing to do that.
Anybody else have a thought?
I kind of agree with what she just said. You'd normally, if the higher the price of a listing, then things just kind of get fixed that come up at inspection. But if it's a lower price listing, you tend to get a better agent and they're incentivized to get the deal done, not, go back and forth over $100 or that kind of stuff. It just is a smoother process for everybody.
Oh, I agree. I mean, listen, it takes two parties, right, to consummate a transaction, and that includes buyers, sellers, but also includes listing agents and sellers agent, right? So our job is to make sure at the end of this we get to the table fair, right, for everybody. Everybody comes out hopefully happy. We understand that's not real in all cases, but for the most part, that's our objective. But at the end of the day also is that if you're dealing with a quality property and that representation or that property is being represented by a quality agent and the price, the payout is such and it shows, and you're paying out the buyer, I'm telling you, you guys will slowly start gaining also agent attraction where agents that deal in your grid, anytime there's a listing that comes up in your name, they're gonna look it up immediately because they know they're dealing with a good agent. That's the reputation and the credibility, guys, that you want in your business. We're dealing with 11,000 plus agents or whatever the count, I mean, it could be plus or minus. I don't remember when we found what the total agent count is for St. Louis and St. Charles County combined. But listen, at the end of the day, I'd rather do business with agents that I know that they're going to handle their end of the transaction on the other end, right? And I'm willing to pay for that because that's why I'm paying 3.7 or 3.1 or 3%, right? That's why in the very beginning, I'm sorry.
It's that, but also after a while, you start to have agents that just, when they've got a buyer and there's no inventory, they automatically look you up to see what you've got, or they pick up the phone and call you and say, hey, I got a buyer looking for this. You got anything coming?
Absolutely, Cream. Absolutely. So what does that tell you guys? Do you guys hear where we're heading here? Right? We've always embedded ourselves in always being on top of our CRM, right? But what about also being on top of your agent CRM, people that you constantly want to do business with? If you guys have this 7% stuff going, imagine having a circle of agents that you continuously involve yourself with, right? That your guys are going back and forth with buyers and sellers and so on and so forth. That could be an easy year for you, right? If you guys really network accordingly. Remember, it's not how many deals you do, it's how many good deals you do, right? The quality of the deals. Questions or theories on that? Questions or theories on embracing other agents in your portfolio?
I have something. Yesterday, I had a closing and found out that once I got the seller's HUD, I found out that the agent charged 7%, but only paid out 2.7. So it was kind of a disappointment because, I mean, it was a great transaction and she was perfect to work with. Her team was great and we got the deal done, which was perfect. My clients are happy and hers are too. That's the goal. But, it was kind of funny, when I looked at, I got the sheet and then all of a sudden I'm like, well, geez, there's a pretty big difference there on the commission that was paid out, and figured it out. And she got 7%, but she only paid out 2.7. So my question or my thought is, how did she spin that to her seller? Because a lot of times we're like, hey, we want to make sure that we're getting good quality agents. We want to make sure that we want people that are going to be looking at your listing. This is going to help incentivize people to get in there. And, but she's got to put on her listing agreement that she's paying out 2.7. So, I mean, as a seller, I would look at that and go, okay, I realize that you're a good agent and I want to work with you, but you're getting a lot of money on this end and you're only paying out this. How's that going to be an incentive to another agent to come in and sell my house?
I completely agree. And I'd like to answer that, Kay, or respond to your comment. Unfortunately, the long run of that type of dealing of business, it's going to affect their way of doing business. Why? Because even more and more now, you guys are hearing now that commissions are being obviously are thrown out there for everybody to see now, right? The proceeds. So guess what? Why I tell you guys here at the Gold, at our agency is don't be concerned of what you're paying out. Pay out what's appropriate. The appropriate, if you're getting 7, you should be at least paying out more than 3 or a little more than 3.15, whatever the payout used to be, right? Consider it. Why? Because look, you're going to be known for that. You keep doing it. It's like branding yourself within that brand of agents, right? Don't be afraid to pay for good quality representation on the other side. It also makes your job easier. Right? And it's easier for you to be able to be with confidence in front of your sellers and say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, yes, it says 7%, but let me show you how that 7% gets broken down. And once you go through that breakdown and you're showing, look, and we're also paying a hefty, good quality commission, right? A good hearty commission, for the other side, because we want to get good quality representation on the other side to make this transaction go very smooth and efficient.
Yeah.
You're paying, you know what I always tell people? I'm sorry, Stephen, I'm gonna go right back to you. You're paying really to make the transaction painless. Think about it, guys. What's the number one thing your sellers and your buyers go through every time they want to buy a home? Their nerves are up to here. They're scared. They're emotionally connected to their property. It's your job to disengage them into that and make them understand it's a transaction. So what do? You're paying to basically take the pain out of that transaction. So your job is to find that matching component that's going to make that transaction easy and efficiently. Why? Because it's a seller's market. There's going to be an abundance of buyers out there knocking on your door if that's that type of property. Your job is to find the best candidate that matches your client's needs. Steve, go ahead. Sorry.
But, double-edged sword, I wish you could take some of that money away, because some of these agents just fall on their face and they don't know what they're doing. And then you got to coach them through the whole process. I wish we can say, hey, I'm taking some of that commission away from you. I know you can't do that, but it's just like, I would never ask if, what the payout was, or, oh, you're paying that out. I would just see it on the MLS, print it that day, send it with the contract, and that's what they're paying out, period. End of discussion.
You know what, I think the other issue, is, and this goes back to what Kay was saying, there is something, Kay, that when you look at getting to 7% and you have the control of that, you always have to remember that you're building a business. And when you're building a business, you don't want the feeling that you're creating that Kay had. Kay had a good, transaction, but that little bit at the end where she didn't get where she thought she probably should have gotten a little bit more, that will stick with her.
Oh,
But if
sure.
you're the person who's getting the 7% listings and those agents are having good experiences with you, all that's doing is facilitating more options for you in the future to have better transactions and people bringing you business. So all that's doing with somebody who's cutting somebody off the 2.7, it's really cutting their nose off to spite themselves, because anything that they tried to make a good transaction happen, they cut it off at the end. So I always look at what we're talking about with this 7%. Yes, we're going to bring more buyers in and we'll bring more agents. Ultimately, it's going to help grow your business by agents bringing you more business.
I agree. And I think there's a lot of agents out there that are going to do that. And, and fortunately, I've had a couple of times where agents are like, hey, we went with your offer because we know you're going to get this contract from start to finish, and you're going to do everything you can to make that happen, and I mean, I don't hear that every time, but it's nice to hear, but
Absolutely. Yeah.
but I think
No,
that's what you want.
Go ahead. Okay, sorry. Absolutely. And the thing is, guys, is when you get to that point where you're working your CRM, your current clients, your past clients, and future prospecting, but then you tie in that last component of really engaging with your peers outside of your firm and letting them know that, hey, this is the kind of business I do. We're always looking for, good agents on the other side to represent those transactions when I'm representing my clients. So just, keep that base, and consistently work off of that. At the end of the day, it would make your job a lot easier knowing that you have a reciprocal scenario, right, with other agents that are involved in the transactions that you previously already done in the past. Does that make sense? So if you got more deals coming in the future, but you know that you've done a deal with Tom and Joe and Steve, you're going to, oh man, I'm going to let them know, hey guys, I got another one. Here it is. So if you guys got any buyers, because I love doing deals with you guys. You see what I'm saying? What does that do for you by opening up that world of networking, or that world of per se quasi, CRM for agents, right? Remember, guys, here's the other thing that's going to happen, which we're going to talk a lot about on Tuesday, but you're going to want to really engage also within your inner office, your peers, your inside office, to start dealing and navigating through transactions, because the more you represent 7% clients and the more we have agents representing buyers even into our offices, right, internally, that's going to benefit you guys in the long run way more, and you'll see why on Tuesday when we meet again. But that's what the whole thing about 7% is, guys. This, I wanted you guys to understand when we first started this, that it's not only a number, it's not about the number, right? It's not just a number. It's not going from 6 to 7. It's not that 1% different, right? Difference. It's a way of conducting your business moving forward. The mindset, right? Of understanding and building your business off of, yeah, that 1% difference, but understanding what the true value is besides money on that 1%. Understanding the growth of your business by adding that 1% and how you show your clients why you're worth that extra 1%. I hope somebody's recording this. I'm on a roll.
It's recording, Jose.
Beautiful. So I ask you again, are you guys ready for second quarter? Are you really ready for second quarter? And if not, or yes or no, show me, give me some, what are you ready? What do you got going? What do you want to do? Or maybe this was a little bit of an eye opener. Say, man, holy, you know, I'm trying to avoid cussing. That's my goal for 2021 because I'm a huge cusser. So I'm trying to avoid that. I don't want to offend anybody, but what is your sense now after listening to what we're talking about, how important it is to engage and truly understand why you're asking for that 7%? It's a mindset. It's really engaging and setting up your business for success, guys. It's believing in your product. What is your product? It's you. It's your business. It's your representation. It's your hours and years of work and dedication that have gotten you to the point where you're at now. They're paying for basically experience, guys.
Right.
Understanding the business of real estate, they're paying for that also. And guess what? At the end of it, they're paying for you to help them find the right person to do the deal with. Does that make sense? So I'm going to ask again, third time. Are you ready for second quarter? And I want to hear some yay, no, help me out. I don't want to be the only one talking. Steve's always, go ahead, Kay.
Okay. Well, basically what I have some things that I've been doing recently, you know, just not so much for listings, but trying to get things going for buyers. And I've been doing a lot of mailings, target marketing, you know, target to certain homes that I know my buyers are interested in, and kind of throwing it out, not to try to get the listing, but just to say, hey, listen, I have somebody that, you know, that's looking for a home like yours. If you're interested, you know, if you have an agent you've worked with, that's fine. I'm not trying, you know, my goal is to find a home for my buyer and to put somebody in your hands if that's what you want, if that's what you're looking for right now. So I've been doing that to try to get things going. And then we're going to do a mailer with.
Hey, Kay, can I interrupt you right there? Because you're being very humble. Because one of those mailers actually got you a phone call back, right, Kay?
You met with them.
It did.
I met with them, right?
Yeah, and not to cuss, but it shocked the hell out of me. But yeah, I mean, I was doing a mailer to a neighborhood for my my clients, and this lady called me back and left me a message, and she said, you know, I got your letter and I wanted to talk to you. And then her comment was, this better be legit. So I called her back and I was kind of laughing. And I said, thanks. To tell you, I loved your message. Then this is legit, you know. So we got an appointment. You know, I did. She, you know, she was willing to pay. This was cool too, because I was like, well, hell, you know, me approaching her, who knows if she's going to pay me or not or whatever. So we discussed everything about price and commission, and she said, well, we feel it was pretty gutsy for you to do what you did, so you know, we're willing to pay you. And it, you know, it was a 2% commission, but it was on, you know, a decent house. So you know, she said, we feel like you've earned that, you know. And you know, we ended up seeing the house and we put in an offer. Unfortunately, they couldn't come to terms, you know, on you know, everything, but you know, but yeah, I mean, just, you know, that was my incentive to keep doing this too, because I was
absolutely.
Like, I gotta
And Kay showed me the letter she sent, and I also think that your letter was very good. Your letter was straightforward, not confusing, very simple for someone to understand if they had any interest at all. And I think that's another thing you got to remember when you're doing something like that is you want to make and you want to entice them to think about it, but you don't want to confuse them either. It's just a straightforward situation. And I think your letter, Kay, had a lot to do with somebody reaching out and calling back.
Well, and the other thing that I was trying to do, which comes in with what you're talking about, building relationships with other agents, is, I've been calling agents on expired listings. I mean, I know our goal in the past was always, go after expireds and this and that, but I'm trying it from the approach of go after the agent with the expired listing, ask them if they can rekindle that relationship again, see if there's any. You can't just go to a telephone book and find somebody's phone number, so if there's a way that they can reach out to their client and rekindle that relationship, then they're like, well, this is great. I mean, if I can, and they know the people, so they know what's going to make them tick. So, why not bring them into it? I don't have to have everything. I just want a little bit. So
That's right, Kay. And you know what? Trying to gain a percentage of something that's not out there, what's better, right? Receiving, what's the higher percentage? Getting 0% of nothing, right? Or getting a percentage of something, right? It's there. And
Well,
right now we're in the industry. Go ahead, Brent, sorry.
Well, I was just going to say that what Kay's doing with reaching out to the agent with the expired listing, they already have the relationship. So that you're shortcutting, something there that's like, could be a cold lead that you turn into a warm lead because they have the connection. It's a smart move.
Yeah. Yeah. And a couple of the agents, the nice thing too, is now they're kind of doing like what you were talking about. Like, they'll say, or I'll check in with them every now and then, like, hey, do you got anything coming up? And they'll be like, hey, we have this new listing coming up. If, just keep an eye out for it, or, if you want to get in there early. So, it is working in some ways to be able to build those relationships and just getting out there. And, and even if somebody doesn't answer my letter right now, they may hold on to it for the future. Who knows?
Yeah.
And remember, we're looking at two different facets. So agents that are experienced and have years under their umbrella, right? They can go back to the past CRM and also start talking to those clients that they sold maybe a couple years ago and talking about real estate performance reviews. Remember that? We talked about that before. Or how about new agents? Isn't this a perfect example of how to gain and generate perhaps any type of lead generation by what Kay just did by farming an actual subdivision or a special community up there? That's a good way for new agents to maybe try out, right? We have great preferred partners that are willing to do that for you for $0. Neil, you've owned a restaurant business before. Did a marketing company ever come to you and say, hey man, I want to market your restaurant for free? All I want is that any deal you get from the restaurant, from what we send you, is a little percent of the opportunity to talk to them. Have you ever had a marketing company come over to you and sell you free marketing, man?
I've had a lot that lied about it. Yeah.
There you go, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, Kay, was that an EDDM you did though, or was that something you did yourself?
It was something I did myself.
Okay, good. So you paid for all the postage and printing and everything?
Yeah, I mean, I did the letters myself, and then it cost me a stamp. So
how many did you send out?
It just depended. I mean, I wasn't targeting a whole neighborhood. I was just, we would select different houses in the neighborhood that my client was interested in. So, one neighborhood I did, maybe 20 letters, another neighborhood I did about 18, so I mean, it just kind of varied. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's, and then the expireds, again, with the theory of at some point or another, they really did want to sell. So yeah. Why not go after them, but go with the approach of having, I mean, that wasn't the letter part of it, was kind of a different segue, but, I don't know. I mean, sometimes like this lady that did answer my message, she's like, I didn't think we wanted to sell, and maybe we still don't, but at least we're willing to talk about it.
And Kay, wasn't her situation that her parents had sold their house that way? So she'd experienced something like that before?
Yeah, she had somebody put a note in her parents' mailbox and they sold their house that way. So she's like, she's kind of all about, I think this was a sign kind of thing. And, of course, unfortunately, when the deal didn't go the way she wanted it to, then, unfortunately, she wasn't as thrilled as she was in the beginning. But, it was kind of, but it was, it was a good learning experience, and it was a good way to reach people that I may have never reached before.
You can use this cheesy marketing comment because I just thought about what Kay just said. She thought it was a sign. You could have went like, it is a sign. And this is also a sign that I want to put in front of your house.
It's all about signs.
I'm glad we're on the same page.
It's all about signs.
Yeah, but I guess what we're trying to gain here is we're trying to mesh experienced agents also with new agents that are on this call. Guys, it's not about, man, I haven't been in the business long enough. I can't do that. I don't have the database. I don't have this. I don't have that. No, guys, that's still not an excuse, right? Because in this industry, you don't have to have a lot of years under your umbrella. You just got to understand what you're doing and how you do it. It's a business, right? It's a business. And you have to understand your business, and you got to understand your foundation of your business to move forward. And this is giving you guys two different avenues on how to do that. The experienced tenured agent that she went out and she's got a buyer pool right now. She's working with listings versus I'm a new agent. I need to learn how to build my CRM, build clientele, get out there, get my name out there. She just explained to you what she did as a tenured agent. She went to the most I guess, not dated, but the most conservative approach in our industry that we've always done for many, many years. It's simply mailing out a letter. But you know what that is? All of that, it all boils down to what we've always said in this course: accountability. Making the time to do it. I can sit here and we can all talk to ourselves or talk amongst each other until we're blue in the face. But if you don't capture that, embrace it, and actually execute it, you know, we're spinning our wheels, guys.
Well, the other thing, if I can add one more thing, sorry, Steve, just about, you know, with right now with so much competition for so many listings, that was the other reason why I was kind of going after some expireds too, you know, I mean, and again, making sure it was ones that I knew my clients were interested in, because I'm not the type that's going to go after somebody under false pretenses and say I have a buyer in my hand when I really don't. But you know, with the expired ones, you know, I don't want to be 10 deep in a line every time I have a client that wants to buy a house, you know, or 20 or 300, you know, I want them to be able to have a chance. So this was a way to give them a little bit more of an edge of, you know, trying to get in front of all the competition by going after, you know, people that really aren't actively on the market right now.
And she brought up something what also makes a good point of discussion. She said, look, I wasn't lying to them. I did have a buyer. We selected homes that our client was interested. But let's just say you don't have a client for new agents, right? I would venture to call out Kay, Diana, even Steve. Steve's been in the industry long enough that what was the main thing that they would always teach us in the beginning of our real estate career, right? To get branded out there. Right? What do they always say? Oh, you need to start within your own community, your own subdivision. Start mailing out that I'm in the business. Even with the pre-me of owning it, I remember when I first came on board, I received some little announcement cards, right, that I was supposed to fill out and send out to people, letting everybody know that I'm in the business. You know what? A lot of those tactics still work today. Proof is right in front of us, or in this case, in the Zoom call, right? It still works, guys. You just you got the balance and now and the experience that, or the advantage that we now have technology to make it even a lot more simpler. So for the fourth time, are you ready for second quarter? Right? And I'm hoping that you guys say, I thought I was, but I want to add now more stuff. Right? Because again, if you guys are right now in February not accumulating or cultivating, I should say, or incubating even the word business for the future right now, then that means March, you got nothing on the books. Does that make sense? That's our industry, right? We always work 60 days, 60 to 90 days out on average for contracts. But cultivating takes every single day of your career, of your business. Why? Because at one point you want it to be a revolving 12-month cycle where you're consistently, increasing and stabilizing versus these roller coaster rides. Like, man, I had a great month. What about next month? Well, that's another subject, right? Because I focused so much on this, I didn't keep track of the following month coming up. So I do have one important question, right? And it's a two-part question. Are you holding yourself accountable? And two, what are you holding yourself accountable for? Does that make sense? And if it doesn't, let me know. Are you holding yourself accountable? And if the question let you know the application, if yes, in this case, why are you holding yourself accountable, or for what are you holding yourself accountable for? Because if you can't answer that, guys, that's a good starting point, don't you think? Right now? And maybe you even have it to, well, yeah, I'm holding myself accountable, man. I wake up every day, I come hit the books and I'm working, I'm pushing. Okay, great. But what is that at the end result? What is it you want to get out? And what is it you're holding yourself accountable every day to get done, to make it happen? Is it strengthening your presentation to continue trying to grasp those 7% listings? Is it really focusing on your CRM campaigns and now your new agent relationship campaigns, right? And now making sure you're following back with those real estate appraisals for your past clientele. And now really establishing perhaps a good farming system to pick up potential listings in the future. And now I'm going to go out there and talk to those agents that have expired listings, right? Because I want to let them know that I have potential buyers that are interested in that apartment. And if they already have that relationship, maybe we can reconsummate this and make something happen. This is why it's every time that we do these sessions, guys, it's very important for you guys to stay on these things, because we continually want to move the ball forward. We don't want to stay stagnant. We don't want to keep talking about the same thing, right? We just added some great new material for you guys right now amongst all of us as a collective that we can all use and embrace in the future. But the $1 million question is, are you going to hold yourself accountable to do so? That's the money question, right? You know, if Neil when he had a restaurant and he opened at 5 and he showed up at 4:45 to open shop, do you think his restaurant's going to be ready for running? Probably not, right? Because he still has to prep the kitchen, get everybody's whatever they're going to be serving that day. He has to make sure they're normally there probably what, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning to be able to open up at an evening restaurant at, let's say, 5 o'clock. They got to be ready. So what does that tell you in this business? How do you stay prepared in this business, guys? I'm throwing all this out there for you guys to start re-engaging your mindset, because we're getting ready to go into second quarter. What are you doing to get ready for second quarter? Or what are you going to do to get ready for second quarter? Neil?
Well, keep plugging away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Doing what?
Just trying to get the word out, is in my case, as much as I can, and trying to reach out to all the people in my sphere on a personal level, make them aware of what's going on, what I'm doing. And then I'm really just trying to create, this juggernaut of marketing, just to, I'm behind the 8 ball with everybody else. You guys have all been doing it for years, and I'm just getting started. So I'm just trying to get the ball rolling is what I'm trying to do.
Hey, Neil, I'd like to challenge you with 10 real estate appraisal reviews or real estate reviews from the sphere of influences you have, friends, right? And I'm not sure we've spoken about this in the past or not in this class, but if we didn't, for Neil and Joe, and in this case, Jamie as well, if possible, but mainly, for this particular core, I'd like to challenge you guys. And you know what? Let's open this up for everybody. No, not just these guys. Let's open it up for everybody. All right? I want to challenge each and every one of you to do a real estate review on either your past clients or your sphere of influence. I want you guys to select just 10 of those clients. And if they happen to be friends, say, I want that header to be, hey, I was just thinking about you, and I want you to just show you where your value is worth. If you find this information useful, let anybody in our group know that I can do this for them, that you think. Does that make sense?
I'll send you guys that PowerPoint that we went over on the business growth too, if you want it, for the real estate
Frank can
reviews.
send that to you guys on that performance review, okay?
Well, I take notes, and I had written down that I was going to do the real estate reviews and
Great.
get
So
those out.
here's our goal, guys. here's our goal. Just 10, until next time we meet, right? And use the verbiage how you want. Either, hey, Tom, I know you're my guy, man. I appreciate you're a friend of mine. Whatever you want to use. Hey, I did a real estate review on your property. No worries, man. Just wanted to throw it out there so you know what your house is going at. If you find this of interest, man, go ahead and, let me know, or let anybody else know for that, man. I don't care. You make it sound like you're doing them a favor, man. A free gesture of, hey, now that I'm a real estate agent, I can give you this kind of information. Or you send it to somebody that, hey, past client, look, I know we sold you a house 3-4 years ago, 5 years ago. I just want to let you know where your property stands. Hey, Kate, I appreciate all the help. You let me be your client, or your agent, but I just want to let you know where your property stands as of today, after 3 or 4 years, whatever the time ends you guys pick. You know how easy that is, how warm that is, even on both sides. You're not throwing or bashing yourself in there or shoving people. In this case, for new agents, feeling like I don't want to impose because they're my friends, right? You're not doing anything but just giving them a little gift, really. Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, I do that as well. I did that. I mean, this was a number of years ago that I put it on Facebook. Hey, call me. And, I was doing phone duty, sitting there twiddling my thumbs like, okay, 3 hours, what am I going to do? So I started doing reviews and just sent them out to people, past clients, people I've sold to. And I got a lot of good feedback of them calling me and just saying, hey, thanks a lot. I didn't know it went up X amount, and I told them, I don't know your value right now, but this is what's selling and going around in your neighborhood. And I had one, actually my godmother, I call her Aunt Sandy. I'll throw her under the bus a little bit. She said, yeah, send me one. I sent her one and then she sold with somebody else. So, I mean, they
were
work.
halfway there, Steve. You were
Yeah,
halfway there.
get your name out there, of course.
That's funny. But listen, what is it going to hurt you but time and your time? And if you're using your time wisely, that's part of working your sphere, right? Am I correct?
Correct.
Well, the statistics on it, when they ran the national survey on real estate reviews, is 1 out of 3 times you'll get business. So it's definitely worth the effort. Definitely worth the effort to do.
And the MLS basically does it for you. You just do it.
It does. And I'll resend that. Yeah, I'll resend the deal because you can actually use that little polygon thing now.
Yeah.
And then that creates your list, and then you can go from there. And the thing that's on the PowerPoint actually has language you can use if you want to.
So you're going to send the instructions to do the reviews, because that's what I need. I was looking for it. Okay.
I'll send it to you guys.
Okay, thank you.
And I got to give a shout out to Kay on, I guess, beginning of February when I had, and Brent, you were there as well, when I had those offers. One, we're going to set them in a backup, and then all of a sudden they came up, oh, we can do cash at X amount of dollars. It's like, oh my God. So I'm like, Kay, thank you very much. And I'm like, what do you do? So, and my mom was there, and of course I was worried about when the pizza was going to get there, but other than that, it was good. So we're under contract, but it's, all the new, Neil and Joe, just when I got in the business in 2007, it's just surround yourself with people that, hey, know what they're doing, and call me, call anybody, and just say, hey, what do I do in this situation? Because there's always 9 ways to skin a cat.
Absolutely, and that's great that you bring that up, because that's what our organization is all about, guys. That's what we keep trying to find good agents that fit our culture, not the other way around, right? We want them to understand that we're looking for good, positive energy, and again, also people that want to understand how to grow their business by simply doing what's the right thing we should be doing, which is, again, talking about your quality of representation. Because when you have the quality of representation behind you, then everything else can be formatted around it. Make sense? So 10, right? Just 10. And I'm hoping that one of those people comes back and says, hey, you know what? Can you do that for my friend? Or, hey, you know what? I am interested. I'm glad you brought this up. I was talking about it, and maybe 1. Because if you get 1 response out of 10, what does that tell you? That's a 10% return, right? That's huge. huge in marketing and the mindset of marketing, because they're telling you that it takes 6 months, if not more, a year to get branded. And then you're lucky to get a 1% diagnostic back. 2%, you're making money.
Hey, it all it costs you is a stamp.
Well,
That's
not
right.
only
All it
that,
costs just a stamp.
yeah, not only that, it also, and I would encourage you to do it on a Zoom or something where you get face to face. But the thing that, going back to what Jose said, you're actually giving something of value to these people. It's not, you're not pushing anything down their throat. They want to know what's going on in their area in the last 12 months. What has been the activity and what were the values? Everybody wants to know that. So you are providing them a service. This isn't something that you're just shoving down their throat and you hope that you get something out of it. If nothing else, this is a good touch to be top of mind, that you're giving something of value because you're an agent that thinks to do that. So that's a good
I
thing.
love
No matter
that.
what, there's no downside to it.
That is awesome, Brett. I love that. Great point. Great point. But listen, here's another key factor on why what Brent just mentioned. I'm going to piggyback on him. You guys are real estate professionals, right? Do you guys check your values of your property on a frequent basis? Yeah, don't lie. You guys have access to them. Maybe once, twice a year, you're just kind of checking around. Let me see what my house is worth. Let's see what the neighbors are worth. Let's see what's going on. Don't lie. I do it. I do it just to forget, smiles and giggles. I don't want to say, smiles and giggles, but I do it. We all do it, guys. If it's even once a year.
I've never done it.
Because we have access to the information. It's easy for us. Imagine all those people that really don't have access to information. That'd be cool to find out what your house is worth once or twice a year. Think about it.
Yeah.
Or you send it to your friends. Hey, man, here, I'll hook you up. Great information.
Right.
Being top of mind. That's a perfect example of what Brent just stated. We have 9 minutes, guys. Any questions, comments, concerns, or you guys think I'm crazy? Whatever. Yes, Steve.
We think we know you're crazy, but are we doing the Zillow? Was that on this one or?
That's Tuesday, amigo.
Oh, it's Tuesday. Okay. Because I was
Well,
wondering.
I guess I'll get all my curse words out of my speech.
Yeah, please do. But listen, send us questions. If you guys have questions on next Tuesday's meeting, I sent that email out. You guys have questions that you want answered during that meeting, let me know. We're going to run some time on that meeting, but it's going to be a great meeting, and I highly recommend each and every one of you be on it for sure. But any questions pertaining to this class, this training session?
Yeah.
Wow, I'm
Lots
pretty
of good
good. Brent, you got any questions? Anything? Help them out. Okay, so I am crazy. Jamie, welcome to the first 7% class. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope to see you again, or hear of you, or see you on this board again next month. And again, remember, guys, 10%, 10 of them, 10 performance reviews. If you capture one, that's 10%, guys. Or if you even get any dialogue out of it, that's a success. Top of mind. Guys, good job. Thank you very much. We'll talk again hopefully next Tuesday when I see all of you and the rest of the family on the call. Take care, guys.